So the most recent tale that I told here on the tavern was that of the harpy, and its potential origins across the multiple myths of Europe. But the origin of the word harpy and the most common story when thinking about them is one that I didn't get to tell all of. And many of you requested that tale of mighty Greek heroes, Jason and his Argonauts. So, here today I have that tale for you in summary, my friends. So grab a drink, grab a seat. I got a story for you. Welcome back, wayward children, to my humble hovel. Let's get you back in touch with your roots, shall we? I am Castle, this is my tavern, and here we tell tales of lore and old, more specifically, tales as they are handed down through my family, though today, which those tales are unique, but today we're just talking about the standard tale of Jason and the Argonauts, an epic tale alongside the Iliad and the Odyssey. They are spectacular. Jason and his Argonauts and their quest for the Golden Fleece, which has healing properties and was believed to be able to turn just mundane objects into gold. So let us go through in very quick succession the steps that it took for Jason and his Argonauts to acquire this grand treasure. Starting with the Isle of Lemnos. Lemnos was an isle filled with beautiful women and their husbands, and the women were attested to Aphrodite. But they neglected their worship. Oh, how they neglected it. So she cursed them to smell of rotting flesh and stinking fish, to a point that their husbands all left them for concubines. And the women, enraged by this betrayal, then killed all of the men of Lemnos, and it was said that the stench of the isle could be smelt from leagues away, and somehow, someway, Jason and the Argonauts still ended up there. Apparently, their navigator must have been wearing nose plugs or perhaps had sinus issues. Maybe a change in the weather kept him from being able to smell the stench of Lemnos, but they still ended up landing there. And even a few of the Argonauts ended up having some untimely, unseemly relations with a few of the inhabitants of the isle, and the women of Lemnos almost killed Jason and his Argonauts, but they managed to escape back out to sea and on to the next leg of their journey. Next up was the Isle of Propanos, hailed and ruled by Sisychus, where they were attacked by giant six-armed bandits. Now, they weren't attacked straight away. Jason and the Argonauts, most of them, went inland to see what they could find by way of clues and so on, to gather information and knowledge. And when these bandits saw them leave, they took the opportunity to attack the ship while only Heracles was on board. And some of you may recognize the name of Heracles as being one of the great heroes of Greek myth, and you can only imagine that Heracles veritably rocketh their shitteth, and did so to a point where he killed nearly all of them before the Argonauts returned and helped him to kill the rest. Now, once they had all gotten back on board the ship, they left the island and sailed for a full day almost, until they eventually circled back around, landing exactly where they had left, unknowingly. And if at this point you're wondering, how did these buffoons end up being the heroes of Greek mythology, I assure you, no one knows. But the idealistic hero in Greek mythology is similar to a superpowered frat boy, and that is all the more evident as we get into the next step of their journey, the isle where Phineas, who we mentioned in the previous video, which you can see up in the cards, King Phineas, who was cursed by Zeus because of abusing his foresight, allegedly. He was sat at a table with a bounteous feast and never allowed to eat the food, with horrible, sickening harpies crapping upon the table and stealing any food he could salvage from his own hands before he was able to place it to his emaciated mouth. Emaciated? Is it emaciated? He was very thin, and they didn't let him put any food in his mouth, is what I'm trying to say. And after slaying one of the harpies on that segment of their journey, the other two fled in terror, and they took poor Phineas with him, and undoubtedly gave him a meal that was likely the best of his life. After this, they came to a passageway where they were given knowledge, they were given the wisdom that if a dove could fly through the rocks and the waves that were crashing against each other, then they too could make it through. So Jason releases a dove into the distance, and only a few of its tail feathers are taken by the mighty waves against the rocks. So Jason and the Argonauts full steam ahead, with only minor damage to their ship in the impassable passage. They make it through and on to the final leg of their journey, where they fight a dragon in the true Greek Frat brothers way. They drug it to a point where it's asleep, and then they steal the fleece out from under it, and they run the hell out of there. And then, on a rather unconventional trip home, they take the fleece, and it is, after that, is their trophy. Now, there is, of course, more to the story, but it is a very long tale, and I would encourage you to read it if you can manage to sit through old Greek epics, because they are a bit of a read. And if you don't want to sit through old Greek epics, there is a terrible film that you can also watch, and I will leave affiliate links to those down below if you are interested. I say affiliate links so that you know if you watch them or you buy them, I get a little bit of money and it helps to support the channel. What topics would you like to see me cover? What tales would you like to have me bring to you? Obviously, this was a little bit more lighthearted than what I normally do in the tavern, but I find the story of Jason and the Argonauts to be one of the more funny Greek myths, and I really do enjoy it, because they are really just a bunch of frat brothers on a ship going to steal something from a dragon. That's really all it is, and I personally find it to be hilarious. If you have not already joined the clan and found yourself a seat here at my tavern, I bid thee do so now. You will do so by engaging the subscribe button in Mortal Kombat, and you will know you have won when all the blood drains from its body and it becomes a deathly grey. And conveniently located to its right is the victory bell, which you can ring to let all know of your victory over the subscribe button, as well as you will always be informed when I upload a video, and that's just a bonus. You will find down below in the Kilt section links to all my podcast purchasables and platform. My podcast Endless Epic comes out every Friday, and Dark Tales... No, wait. Yes, and Dark Tales, my adult podcast, comes out every Monday. And a big shout out to all my Patreon supporters. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. You've helped me pick out and get a lot more equipment to do what I do, and I really do appreciate that. And thank you to everyone who likes, subscribes, and enjoys the videos. I appreciate you guys. And thank you to everyone who stays to the end and gets to have these little conversations. You guys are nice. I'm gonna buy you a drink right here and now. So raise your glasses and stay bloodthirsty, my friends. Remember, all hail the Black Dragons.